Alright, so, anyways.
Right.
Is it radio?
This will be good. I totally forgot to check the frame. Alright guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today we are sitting in my camper here, and I'm with one of my good buddies, Mark Bossert. How you doing today, Mark?
Great. We got a cup of coffee.
Yep. So, just having a little coffee and conversation 2.0 here. So, anyways, we're just going to talk, discuss, answer a few questions that some of you guys had. But yeah, we did like a little Q&A on our Instagram story. We got some questions from that, and then we're just going to talk about a variety of different things. So,
we've been talking about doing this for a while.
Yeah.
We're finally doing it.
Yeah. Mark and I first actually met like online, like on social media and stuff. Just kind of started following each other's, content. And then when Claire and I moved to South Dakota, Mark and his wife Bailey, they only live like 3 hours away. So we've gotten up to visit them a couple times, and they've come and visited us. So
yeah, that's a little easier to make a point to visit each other when you're in the same state.
Yeah, Mark is actually the one who I got Elmer through. So, or my horse Elmer, I'm just gonna cut that part out. So yeah, we're gonna start by we're gonna get this conversation started just by pulling a question from some of the ones that I got on my Instagram. How old are you, Mark?
25.
25. You're married.
Is that on there?
Yeah, it is. It's a question.
Oh, yeah, I'm 25.
Yeah,
married, have a kid.
I'm also 25, married, but don't have a kid yet. One on the way.
Actually?
No.
I was gonna say, I was like,
that'd be
are you
crazy.
joking?
No.
So actually not.
No.
Oh, okay.
No kid on the way.
I didn't think so, but I was like, wait, he's not saying anything else. Maybe so.
All right, Mark. You're 25. You're married. You have a kid. What do you do? What do you guys do? Introduce yourself a little bit, if you will. Do you do?
Yeah. So my wife and I are kind of very entrepreneur minded. So we kind of, I don't know, if we have a hint of doing something, we kind of just take off and do it. So as of right now, I shoe horses. I am a brand inspector. I day work. And right now that's where that cowboying comes into play. We raise horses. We have Cow Supply, which we sell calving books, doctoring books, record keeping books, and then also now ropes as well. We retail ropes on there. And
in complete beef tallow line, which we use their products all the time. Link will be down in the description for that as well. Sorry.
Yeah, my wife she's been doing the beef tallow thing for a couple of years now. That's super good for her. What else? I think that's about it right now. So yeah, kind of have our fingers dabble into a few things.
Yeah. Both you and Bailey are kind of chasing after a dream that you want to live, or, just kind of, you said you get an idea to do something and you just run with it. You kind of might have do you have an end goal in mind is what I'm trying to say? Or is it just kind of taking life and, learning skills and doing everything as it comes?
Both, but the learning skills side came from the very beginning of when I was younger. So, I don't know, 15, 16, 17, 18. My goal was strictly to learn as many skills as I could, because then you're marketable. You can show those skills or whatever to get the jobs that you want to get. So I would say that came earlier. Right now, I think everybody kind of says this, but our end goal is to have a place, or run a place. Even if we don't own it, have a place or run a place. So right now our goal, ranching, to own or run a ranch. And so right now, kind of, I'm not huge on giving away all of our secrets, but we're trying to create those cash flow areas so we can move laterally over to do that, because owning a ranch, Ben and I were just talking and looking at stuff the other day. It's expensive now. It's almost impossible to have it penciled out to go buy a place from scratch right now. It's not impossible, but it's almost impossible. So
this kind of feeds into the question I was hoping to guide us towards is, did your family grow up and do any cowboying? How did you get into the cowboying industry? And this is a question that I get a ton. I'm sure you do as well. And it's really hard to answer. But to kind of break it down, neither of us did grow up in this industry. I think both of us kind of grew up in like a country lifestyle, growing up on some acreage, big family. You had chores, maybe we had like a milk cow for a bit. We had some goats and all that kind of stuff. But you didn't grow up cowboying.
Right, correct. Yeah, I would agree. It was very... And there's some family members that would argue saying, well, yeah, some of us did, but not to the caliber of the... It's hard to explain. Not in the true cowboying caliber, no. We rode horses. We helped people gather sometimes. We knew how to ride-ish. But, no, we didn't grow up. None of our family owned a ranch. Like, my mom and dad just worked regular jobs, and we were out in the country. Dad worked for big farms mainly. Dad always dreamed of having a farm, and we were quite the opposite of that. So we grew up around some of it, but not.
I think you touched on something kind of a lot of people might not realize is the different calibers of cowboying, buckarooing, ranching. Like, through social media, a lot of people see me and they think, wow, that's a real cowboy. I am not a real cowboy, folks. Like, I kind of am, but like on the far end bottom scale of the caliber of cowboy kind of, like I see all these people ahead of me, in front of me, and think, oh my gosh, I have so much room for improvement. I do not know anything compared to like all these real cowboys in my mind. But yet to me, somebody who meets me might think like I'm a real deal, full-blown cowboy. There's just there's different calibers and different, there's always room for improvement and stuff you can learn.
I agree, but I feel like every step that you go through in your cowboying, like as you're waking your way up the ladder, you never, like, keeping that mentality, like he just said, is huge, because you always have somebody looking up to you, but you always have somebody you're looking up to. At least you should. Like, even the top dogs in the industry typically have somebody they still look up to. At least that I found. So maybe you're just humble, Ben.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually really handy. No, that's true. I think a mentality has a big deal to do with it. I mean, like, in being successful in anything like this, to a degree, not being content with where you're at is like always a driving force, which sometimes it can be a little like not good, because you don't realize how good you have it and how blessed you are in the area and chapter you are in life. You just always keep looking towards more, but at the same time it keeps you hungry, keeps you striving, keeps you chasing goals, keeps you making new goals and everything. So
yeah,
I don't know, it's kind of a balance.
You gotta have a balance, otherwise you're not. I don't know, I find myself constantly being so hard on myself. Bailey, my wife, will be like, look at what we do have though. So you gotta be thankful for where you're at and be present where you're at, but also if you don't have that constant drive, you're gonna almost burn out.
Yeah. So
yeah, you gotta find that balance.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, we've just been John and haven't even answered the question. But neither of us really grew up in it. How did you get into it? Like, how did you kind of make that jump from you're a young kid, 14, 15, just gathering as many skills as you can. And then from what you've told me, it was kind of like you just got lucky, family, connection, whatever it might be, but you found a place that would take you on and teach you young, right?
So, yeah, so a conversation him and I were having earlier. I was very blessed with an opportunity at a very young age because, so I'll backtrack. I did online classes. I did not go to a public school like most people. So all my school was online. So that made it to where I could go out and work and then come back and do school, because school really only took me a couple hours, maybe 3 hours. So I hired on at a place at, I don't know, 13, 14. I think I had my 14th birthday there. I think. Pretty sure. And I started at, I don't want them to watch this and say it wasn't that little, but I think it was. I think it was like $400 a month, and then it moved up to like $600 a month, and just slowly made up from there. Which, as a kid, to me, that was quite a bit of money.
No expenses. You got a little cash. You earned it. It's like $400.
And I didn't know anything.
We're killing
like
it.
Calving, I knew I was around animals, and I could get on a horse and saddle a horse, so I knew something, but not like if they said, "Hey, go pull that calf by yourself," it's backwards. I couldn't do it. So they were willing to take a risk also taking me. So that was huge. So that kind of taught me all that stuff. But then I fenced for like the entire time I was there for that first period. I fenced mainly. In the summertime, that's mainly what I did was fence. And then they'd hire day workers typically to doctor cattle and stuff like that. And I was like, man, what do I got to do that? Like, that looks way better. That's kind of when I kind of got the itch for it. And I started roping. I think the first thing I started roping was a hay bale, a square bale. Then I moved up to a hitching post. Then I got, for my birthday, somebody got me one of those plastic heads that stick in a hay bale. And after I turned 18, I moved, got out, and just started. I mean, my goal to begin with was just get as much knowledge as possible, including on the farming side. So I actually worked for a farm for a long time, too, a big farm. And all I did was drive tractor and truck pretty much. But I did that because that's
still skills.
Yeah, that's another
know.
asset. Even as a ranch hand, you've had to drive truck.
Yeah.
Like, that's just skill sets that are desirable. And mechanicking, I kind of forced myself to learn all of that stuff too, because that's all. You're making yourself marketable to everybody.
Yeah.
So,
every single tool that you can put in your toolbox is another thing, another reason that somebody would want to hire you.
Exactly.
I know how to, change a tire. I know how to use a ratchet strap. I know how to weld. I know how to, use a chainsaw well. I know how to, whatever it might be, like you're saying. I mean, anything. You don't just need to know how to ride a horse and throw a rope. There's a lot more. The more you know, like you said, makes you more marketable.
Way more. Well,
yeah.
You got to think about it from a ranching aspect. If I'm a ranch wanting to hire Ben, yes, Ben's going to be looking to get something out of it, but also I need that. I'm not going to go sink $3,000 a month into a guy that has no clue what he's doing. Like,
yeah,
he's got to bring something to the table.
Yeah. So you started, you got your foot in the door, you got an opportunity to place, and you just learn everything you could, and built up your toolbox, your skills and all that. So, like I said, it's a hard question to ask, but how can I get into it? It's all about those same things. It's building up your toolbox, learning new things, new skills, and taking opportunities when they come, but also creating your own opportunities. Go knock on some doors. Go join a Facebook group and ask people for help. Don't expect, to be making the most money right off the bat when you don't know anything. Say that again, Mark.
Make yourself marketable.
There you go.
We can do a whole different video on that. Like you said, that you're right.
We really should. This one question alone, I feel like we're going to take up too much time because it could literally be its own 30-minute video.
What is one piece of advice you'd give your younger self that you know now?
I was actually thinking about this one last night. This is one of the questions we got from Instagram. I was actually thinking about it last night.
Don't waste your time learning how to tie a tennis shoe when you're going to wear a boot your whole life. I'm just joking.
That's good. No, like, well, okay. Is there anything like profound behind that?
No, it's just thought. My biggest thing would be teachable, which kind of goes into like what him and I were saying about the making yourself marketable. I feel like it all feeds in, but
excuse me.
Good man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's be teachable. I know, especially when I was way younger. I mean, we're still technically young to some people, but when I was way younger, I thought I was like hot stuff. And some of my buddies, I need to get them in some videos too. They would agree, and their parents would agree. Like, I thought I was the handiest cowboy in the whole county. And that just, like, anytime you have that mentality, it shuts off your learning. You don't learn anything else because you think you're at the top, and I wasn't. Like, sure, I could rope, but that was about it. Like, so be teachable and be humble. And those two things what I've noticed is you'll have a lot more opportunities kind of fall into place because you have the mindset that people want to teach. Like, for me now, I'd rather teach a kid that's humble and teachable. I'd way rather do that. So, yeah, I could dish mumbo for forever.
No, that's good.
I feel like I'm stealing all the talking.
Yeah, well, you stole my point, that's for sure. So, like, I've had one managerial position. I was the manager of a barn, had some wranglers below me, and there's just such a huge difference between somebody who, you know, thinks they know what they're doing and wants to do it their way versus somebody who's like, okay, show me how to do it and why do we do it this way?
Yeah.
You know?
Even if you do know what you're doing, you're probably not going to know what the ranch does that you're going to. Everybody does it different. So if you're not teachable, sure, you might have all these experiences on these outfits over here, but this one might do it different, and now you're working for them, so you kind of have to kind of fall into place and learn their way. So you're constantly, I mean, unless you're staying in one spot your whole life, you're constantly learning.
There's a quote that's always kind of stuck with me since I read it in a book called Wild at Heart, but it's life is not a problem to be solved, it's an adventure to be lived. And I always try to remind myself that, like, I sometimes get in the headspace of, okay, what's the next thing, but okay, but I got this, but like, what's the next thing, what am I gonna achieve next? And it's like, it's easy for me to get in the mindset of what's next, what's my next achievement, you know, what's my next goal. Sometimes I achieve something, I get a deal, somebody follows me, whatever. It can be as big or as small, and it's just like not enough. And it's really like reminds me of how worldly the world is, how fleeting things are, how not important things can be that you think are going to be important to you.
100%.
And that quote always reminds me that, like, life is not a problem to be solved. It's not you get to the end of the problem and you're going to be happy. It's an adventure to be lived. Live each moment. Try to live each step. Try to be present in the present. Try to live in the present and, you know, not be thinking about the next thing, but just enjoy where you're at. And that's something that I could watch this video, that little clip, every single day.
And remind yourself, 100%.
Yeah, because it's something I always fall back into and forget to live in the moment and enjoy where I'm at and be thankful for what I have. So.
We're not just talking to you guys. We're like, this is all stuff that we also are constantly working on.
Yeah, it's not like I have this figured out by any means. So.
No. That's good though. I've never heard that, but it's true. Like, so many people think as soon as I get to this goal, I'm going to be happy, and that's not the case.
Yeah.
If that's what you're thinking, you're probably never going to be happy.
Yeah, take it from me, guys. Money's not it. I'm a millionaire, and
that's why we're friends.
No, it's like so it's at the same time, it's like one thing that I just can't get out of my head is, like, once I have my own place, it'll make life so much easier. I can get the content that I want. I can start building something for the future and blah, 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 blah. And who knows, 5 years down the road, maybe I have my own ranch, and I'll probably be looking back on this exact moment, me sitting in this camper, this little shabby camper with Mark, you know, not having, you know, an acre to my name or anything, and I'll probably miss this moment and wish, man, those were the days, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like...
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Still gonna go for that ranch, though. Still making trek that way, so... Anyways, that was good.
Here's a question out of the norm, or out of this. If you could go back, would you still go work on dude strings? Like, did you get stuff off of those places?
Oh.
I've never worked on a dude ranch, but I know a lot of people have, and I've heard mixed on it. So
yeah. So I guess you told how you got into ranching. I didn't tell how I got into ranching in a way. But, like, I grew up in the country. I'll just give, like, a quick little rundown. Grew up in the country. Grew up riding a little pony, milking goats, not cowboying. Okay? I didn't really ride a horse until I was about 19, out of high school. Got a job on a dude ranch for the summer months. Dude ranch it was in Colorado. It's where people can come on a week-long family vacation and live the Western lifestyle. Like, you know, eat good home-cooked meals, do square dancing, go on horseback rides, hiking, everything beautiful in Colorado. That's kind of what a dude ranch is. So that's what Mark's talking about. And that was my first job on horseback. I was leading hour-long horseback rides in Colorado. What was the question? Would I do it again?
Like, did you get enough? Did you get something out of those? Would you do it again? I guess that was kind of your step into it, so probably.
It was a good first step into it because coming from nothing, I had no idea how to get a foot in the door. and I had no experience. I didn't know how to saddle a horse. Like I said, I'd grew up riding bareback kind of deal, so I knew nothing. Do I think it's the best way to get into cowboying? Absolutely not. I feel like I kind of, knowing that where I'm at now is like back then when I was 19, I didn't know I wanted to cowboy. I didn't know that I wanted to work on a cattle ranch. I had no idea what I wanted to do, and I thought riding horses in Colorado sounded like fun, so that's what I went and did. I feel like that first year I worked at that dude ranch, I learned everything that dude ranch had to offer me. I could tack 10 horses in 30 minutes, like I could do I maxed out the skill level for what that place could teach me. If I had to go back and knew that my end goal was to, get a job on a ranch, I don't think I'd start on it. I'd try to get a job, something that is a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's like 70% hospitality, 30% horses. So if I want to get a job in ranching, cow-calf operation, I'd get a job that has a lot more hard skills than soft skills.
Yeah. So most people, for the people that are kind of just starting out, most of the higher caliber ranching cowboy type people have this, I don't know, would you say they look down on, they look down on dude ranches? I don't know why, probably because it is kind of the more bottom stuff, but I see like the videos, I'm like, man, that actually look kind of fun. Like, that's Mark's retirement plan. I'm just gonna go work on a dude ranch.
I feel like people look at it almost like stolen valor.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. They're selling the lifestyle, but it's not truly the lifestyle. Yeah, I would agree.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think that's probably where the stigma comes into play, is like people that think that they're just as much of a cowboy as a real cowboy when they're just leading dude horse rides,
Yeah.
And it's like, you ain't no cowboy.
So without touching on it super big, because I think I am going to do a video or a weekend, whatever, about how to get into ranching. But best ways to find ranches that are hiring. Like, how do you even find them? The internet at our fingertips. Like, Google. You can Google ranches for hire, and so many places come up. But some of the big ones would be Ranch World ads. I've looked on Ranch World ads before. I think that's where I found my job in Colorado, was Ranch World ads. And that was a really good opportunity. And then Facebook, almost everybody has Facebook. There are so many Facebook groups. Just type in
South Dakota Farm and Ranch, Wyoming Ranch Hands for Hire.
Every state has its own groups, and you can find them. It's too many people come to me wanting to find a ranch, and they can find the ranch, but they're not marketable yet. You have to make yourself marketable before you can go find that ranch. So, but yeah, there's so many. Any platform you type in ranches for hire, you're going to find something. But Ranch World ads is a huge tool.
Here's the thing. Finding ranch help wanted ads is not the problem. The problem is I get a lot of messages, people being like, I just can't get a job. I can't get a job. Can you hire me? Like, why would somebody else want to hire you? You say, hey, can I come work for you? And that's it. Okay. You have to be able to market yourself in some aspect, have some sort of qualities that somebody's going to want to hire you, but you also have to be ready to make sacrifices. Say you're living in Maine, like you kind of have to be able to move where the job takes you. If you're wanting to do this, you're going to have to make sacrifices like moving away from friends and family. You're going to probably have to take some major budget cuts, especially if you don't know anything. There's no way you're going to get a job. I mean, even a seasoned, experienced ranch hand, somebody who knows how to ride, rope, doctor, everything, it's not guaranteed that they're going to make above $2,500 to $3,000 a month. You're not going to, as somebody that knows nothing.
Yeah. So think about this. You want to get into ranching? I don't think I ever made above like $2,200 a month. So that's pretty. I mean, for most careers, that's pretty low. But
what did I say? 335?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know what you make, but I didn't make that much.
I don't make that much either, no.
But then you also have to buy all of your gear. Like cowboying, no ranch is going to buy your gear for you. You have to come with all of that as well. And it has to be, especially for bigger places, it has to be quality gear because they're not going to want their horses ruined. Their horses are worth more to them than you are, usually. Worth more money. They don't want to go sore them. So you make the least amount of money in most careers, but you also have to buy all of your own gear to make the least amount of money. Like, so all that to say, if you're thinking cowboying is like a big luxury job, it's not. Like,
yeah.
You're not gonna make very much money.
Get back up there.
Tired.
That was a long little tangent just to say that you're not going to be making money in cowboying.
We'll just clip that down.
Yeah. it's not a job of luxury. It's more the lifestyle than anything. And I feel like that's why so many different people who cowboy, who ranch, have so many different side gigs. You will rarely meet somebody who all that they do is cowboy. Usually people do leather work, silversmithing,
Rawhide.
Yeah, I mean, or they have
artwork.
I've got, you know, my hat company, and Mark and Bailey have Cowgal Supply. Again, link is down below. So no, but like, you know, Mark, you just have to have a wide you have to have a big toolbox. You have to know how to do a lot of stuff. Usually, I mean, just the cowboying isn't enough to make ends meet, and I don't know, kind of makes for an interesting life that you're always, you know, kind of pursuing side gigs or different ways to make money, or spending hours on Facebook Marketplace trying to find a good deal, you know. Yeah. Kind of keeps a little spice in life, you know. What's up, Dumpling? Oh.
Sorry, guys.
I love it.
Brownie points.
We got a little halftime snack here. Some bacon and pumpkin bread.
That actually kind of made my morning. It's a hard lifestyle is basically what we were saying.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of side gigs, we got a question. What social media platform do you get the most return on? And I guess I do more social media, like full-time social media, than Mark does. But it's becoming a good side gig that like a lot of people in the Western industry are starting to get in on, or trying to get in on, because not only can you make money from the platforms themselves, but you can market your products. You can so social media is definitely becoming kind of like a valuable asset to the Western industry. And one of the questions I got was, what platform do you get the most return on? And if you're talking like views per, you know, money per views and everything, it's YouTube. That's why I've kind of been pursuing YouTube this last year. And, you know, it's become a pretty awesome little side hustle. But like also it's important to like diversify that as well, because the more people that you can have follow you and everything, like I said, brands will reach out to you to promote their products, and if you stand behind them, that can be kind of like a good little source of revenue as well. So anyways, short answer for me is YouTube.
We were talking about this a little bit before. Mine's definitely TikTok. TikTok's probably my biggest platform. It's still not that big, but it's the biggest. But I'm trying to prioritize Instagram and YouTube, because so I make more money right now on TikTok, but like I was telling Ben, all of my opportunities have came from Instagram, even though my Instagram's not very big. Like I have way less on Instagram, but that's where all my opportunities are coming from, and YouTube. I don't know why, but it's just is that way. And I would agree, like he was saying, I don't do it as much full time as he does. But I think that's a goal for Bailey and I both. We're just not as good at it yet. Like Ben's kind of my mentor.
Yeah. I don't know. Gosh, we really could spend all day on these questions.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, we've been talking about doing this for a while, so just be able to
Yeah.
What's your first piece of cowboy gear, man?
My first piece of cowboy gear I got at the Dude Ranch. It was a set of chinks. So like chaps that cover your legs. It's like the summer version. An old Wrangler left these at the Dude Ranch, and I claimed them. and they've been with me ever since.
And be like, oh, I wondered where those were.
Yeah. Yeah, so finders keepers. So, anyways, that was my first piece of cowboy gear. I was like, oh, this is sweet.
Mine was my hat. I got a palm leaf hat, bought it, and I got made fun of so much when I had that thing. Because, I mean, I was fencing full time when I had it, so I wasn't a cowboy at all, but I was proud of that hat.
Yeah.
That was my first, that, and then my shotguns, which are more of a winter version of Shabs. But yeah, the hat was definitely my first. And now I look back at it and I'm like, that is not the hat I would have bought.
I remember my first hat. I wore it for like 3 summers. It was a palm leaf, but like a cheap one. And it had a hole right here that just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I finally bought a new hat. But is there something about living this lifestyle specifically that makes it worth it to you?
Yeah, I would say it depends how you define wealth. So like he was saying, you don't get wealthy. Well, if I feel like if I chased money, I would never be happy. But for me, having my family can come with me. So people that watch our Instagrams and stuff know that Bailey packs Gus, our boy, on her back and comes and ropes with me. Like, to me, that's wealthy. Like, my family can come with me, and that's what it is. That's the piece that I think I like the most, is keeping family involved, and my family can do it with me. And I get way more time with my wife and kid than I would if I was on an oil rig. Like, that's huge to me.
Making less money, but,
Yeah, I'm not wealthy in currency, but I would say, yeah, I'm definitely wealthy in the fact that, like, my lifestyle, my family, honestly, that's family's huge to me. Since I was a kid, that was my main goal, was to have a family. So now it's focusing on spending time with that family, and they can come rope. There's no better feeling than heading a cow, and then your wife comes in there and has your little 2-year-old boy on her back and just picks up a set of heels, and it's like,
that's so cool.
Yeah, that's
so that
pretty cool feeling.
If you think about it, ranch hand, cowboy is like the perfect example of intrinsic value versus like exterior value. Like, as a ranch hand or cowboy, whatever, you don't have free time. Okay, you're kind of tied down to where you're at because you have chores, you have animals, you have everything relying on you. You're not making a lot of money. It's like there's all these different things that are like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
It's like when it pencils out, it doesn't really make sense. You don't have a lot of freedom. You don't have a lot of money. You don't have, all this stuff. But, it's things like what you just said, watching your wife, pull up a set of heels and everything.
With their boy on her back. Like, that's huge.
Like, that's really cool.
I heard one thing one time, and it's so true. I never thought of it this way, but this guy told me, money was made to limit us. And it's like, it's so true. Like, if you eliminate money, if you eliminate the stress, which I tend to stress about finances sometimes, it's just my habit. Like, if you eliminate that and quit, like,
which is hard to do.
So much life has to offer, yeah.
Yeah. It is hard to do just because, everything in life is tied to finances, and it's hard to just forget about it when you have to worry about it. But yeah, the less you can focus on it. There was another quote I saw the other day. There's this guy on Instagram called Broken Bow Country. I don't know if you know who that is, but and I forget what the quote was specifically.
Dude, this pumpkin bread is bomb.
I found the quote. It's by Richard Prenneke, Dick Prenneke. He is the alone in the wild guy, like 50 years old, moved to Alaska, built a cabin, was a carpenter. You ever heard of him?
I think I've seen, yeah.
Super cool. Anyways, this is a quote by him. Needs? ? I guess that is what bothers so many folks. They keep expanding their needs until they are dependent on too many things and too many other people.
Yeah, that's pretty deep.
I was like, wow, that hit me because I'm kind of building a life where I'm depending on other people here. building a career on social media and all this different stuff. I'm like, part of me just wants to drop off the face of the earth and go cowboy. That's it.
Yeah.
Be poor. You think you need so much that you start expanding, you know, you start expanding your needs until it involves and relies upon so many people and, you know, making this much and all that. And then I feel like that's why a lot of people are not happy once they get money, because with money, they say, you know, with more money comes more problems, kind of deal.
Yep.
You know?
And more needs. Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. And that's to me is like, I want, like, when I think about why living this lifestyle and everything is worth it to me, it's because like I am able to, I'm happy. You know, I sometimes when I saddle up and I get on a horse and I'm just going out riding out for the day, I'm like, this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
This is cool. You know, and I'm like, it's just very important to me that what I'm doing every day is, not every day's fun, not everything you do is fun, but it's like as a whole, it's a good life.
Yeah.
And it's worth pursuing, you know. And then
not taking it for granted is huge.
Yeah.
Especially when you're trying to film. For people that don't try to do social media, like even to my caliber, which is way below his, it takes a lot to go doctor cattle and be like, I'm gonna bring my camera, because it is a lot more work. And then you almost start taking for granted what you're doing because you're just so involved in, or so wrapped up in editing and
getting content,
and it's like, wow. Like I had to realize for myself that there's times that I need to go and just leave my camera, and yeah, there could have been a lot of good content that day, but I just need like the time to just sit and enjoy it, because you start taking for granted what you got pretty quick.
Absolutely. Yeah, and my dad was visiting us the other day, and I'm sure you're going to be watching this, Dad, if I keep this part in, but he was like, why don't you, you know, record this? Why don't you make a video about this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you, you know, make a content of when you go to Mount Rushmore or whatnot? And it's like, I don't think a lot of people understand that it's exhausting to create content, to document your life and make videos and edit and always be worried about how can I get content? How can I monetize this? How can I use this or use that? And it's like, sometimes you just need to go do something.
Yeah.
You just need to unplug, leave it behind, and it's harder and harder to do, because once you get into that mentality of time is money, content or stuff that you do is content, which equals money, you know, it's like kind of getting into that same role of, you know, how can I build off this and use it, that you just kind of forget to live in the moment. So, closing thoughts.
I think the biggest question everybody has is how to get into it. So, like, I know for me, I'm going to make a video on just strictly that. But if that's what you guys are looking to do, get a pen and notebook down and write down all the pros and cons and what you have to sacrifice, what you don't. Figure out if it's truly something you want to do, and when it is, if it is, start prioritizing what you need to prioritize first. Like, don't go looking for the ranch if you're not marketable. If you can't rope, if you don't have the gear, like, start getting stuff lined out. Then go look, and that'll probably work a little better in your favor.
And it's just really circumstantial. I mean, like, for me, not knowing what to do, I didn't know what gear to get, you know? You don't know what, there's so many different kinds of ropes that you don't know what rope to get. You don't know what saddle to get. You don't know what's a good saddle and what's not. So it's also, you know, it's just really important that you follow Mark and I and like this video and comment and
buy
share.
Our ropes from Calgary Supply. Those are probably pretty good ones.
No, yeah. Do you have any resources or books or TED Talks or something that impacted you or helped you?
With which part?
Life.
To be honest, guys, because I was homeschooled, like, I suck at reading. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm kind of stupid, so I'm not a huge book guy. Like, I'll hear all these like smart people are like, I read this book. Well, it'd take me like 2 years to read a 10-page book. So I don't really. YouTube is my main go-to because I suck at reading, and Yeah, I'm kind of dumb.
On, you know, you can YouTube how to wrap a saddle horn, how to doctor a calf. Mark makes several videos on that. I mean, YouTube is a great resource. That's a great answer.
That's how I got into it, honestly, was watching people's videos. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I YouTube so much. Use the resources that you do have, you know? So, I mean, that's a great one, actually.
Yeah, that's what I did. I think the other day I was going through some of my stuff and I found a book that I tried to start reading when I was younger. And I think I was on like page 4 or 5. Like,
Really?
it didn't work for me because my brain just goes while I'm reading, so I have no clue what I'm reading.
Yeah.
So YouTube is huge for me. I'm a visual learner.
Yeah.
So.
Lots of times when I'm reading, I'll read an entire page, flip it over, and be like, what did I just read? And I'll have to reread it.
Yeah, that's how I am.
So, short attention span. Well, all right. I don't know how I'm gonna edit this down, but we're gonna get on it.
Maybe part 2, 3, or 4. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see if we have to chop this up into a couple different parts. But, anyways, all right. Anyways, guys, Mark and I have been seeing each other a little more out. That sounds weird. Not sexually. All right, guys. So I don't know when Mark and I will be back together, but you know, if y'all like this video, drop a comment down below. If we didn't answer one of your questions, drop it down below. I mean, we'll be back together. We can make part 2 of this if you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, chaos conversations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Link down below. Just joking. But yeah, no, if you guys have any questions for us or want to know something, go ahead and comment it down below. Follow Mark. Go check out Cow Gal Supply. All that info is linked down below in the description. And appreciate y'all's support. And we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers. Oh.